I visited Tucson again this year for their annual gem show, or more accurately, gem shows, as there are about 30 different gem shows going on at about the same time in Tucson every year, which makes it the largest gem show gathering in the world. Also this year I did things a little differently in that I was able to use a gem fasting machine while in Tucson. I always feel bad if I'm not able to cut at least a little bit every day. You know, I don't like the idea of shipping my cutting machine with the airlines, so I was thankful to be able to find and coordinate with a fellow Arizona cutter to use a local machine, meaning machines in Arizona. So I was able to use the machine in the mornings and in the evenings. I just had to take a couple of laps and my 3K diamond bat stick and snake oil. So that worked out well. Before I left home, I preformed and dopped 24 pieces of peridot, each piece between 1 and 3 grams in size, and I took the dop stones with me. So I was able to get up early, and I'm an early riser, sometimes as early as 4 in the morning. And since the shows generally start at around 10 in the morning, I had plenty of time to do a little fasting in the mornings, and then when I came home at night, do a little fasting in the evenings after I returned to the hotel. And just for your information, my fasting machine, the one that I used, could not be heard by my fellow hotel neighbors. I checked, and so I cut and pre-polished 24 stones. I used the same design to keep things simple. I didn't need any fuel for heating. I didn't need any acetone. I didn't need any super glue or additional dops or my transfer fixture because I already dopped the stones and I was just taking them through pre-polish with each step. So I was happy to be able to do a little cutting each day while in Tucson. Plus, I was able to work through an inventory of peridot rough, which had been growing for years. So I thought I was finally clearing out my peridot inventory, but unfortunately, while in Tucson, I found a super deal on peridot, and in the end, I returned home from Tucson with many more peridot pieces of rough than I had before going to Tucson. So anyway, I'll show you the rough I bought in a few minutes. For the past few years, I've been trying very hard to cut more rough than I purchase, thus reducing my inventory. This year's been a challenge because I visited the mines in Kenya and Tanzania last summer, and of course bought much more rough than I will be able to cut for a little while. Here's a link to that video of my visit to the gem mines and the gem buying regions in Kenya and Tanzania if you're interested. So let me get on with showing you the gem rough I purchased in Tucson. Gem rough was only a fraction of what my wife Bopi and I purchased for her jewelry store, Bopi's Diamonds and Fine Jewelry. And I'm not going to show you all or any of the jewelry we purchased for the storage. I'm just going to show you the gem rough purchased for me to cut. So here we go with my purchases. Okay, in no particular order. These are 3 pieces of morganite that I picked up in Tucson this year. I had found this pink, very, very pink morganite color before, and I was worried that I would not find it again, so I was almost exhausted my previous inventory of this color, but I was lucky, found clean, nice pink morganite. Found this at the 22nd Street Mineral and Fossil Show. Not the biggest pieces of morganite that I have. I still have this humongous piece that I need to cut. I've been waiting to cut, wanting to cut. Eventually I'll cut it. But these pieces are a much better color. This is kind of the standard, this big piece is kind of the standard color morganite that you find. But I found those at 22nd Street. And next, in no particular order, are the next 2 rather large, nice, round gemstones that I picked up. These are moldavite, which can only be found in the Czech Republic. This is from a meteorite hitting the Earth 15 million years ago, causing a giant crater in the Earth. And all the debris got thrown into the air with the explosion into the atmosphere, and basically the sand melted and it formed a natural green glass. But it seems like when you tell people it's natural green glass, people think you can just melt a Heineken beer bottle and call it Moldavite. No, Moldavite is a natural green glass, but it's easy for the labs to determine if it is or is not Moldavite, or if it's just a melted piece of glass. So, and I cut a piece recently and made a video. So I wanted to get some more because I hadn't bought any in decades. So I found what I believe was the same person I'd bought them from years ago, although he was with a partner at that time. So I believe I believe it's the same source. Anyway, these are much nicer shapes and very nice colored green. So Moldavite from the G&LW show at the Holidome. And next, again in no particular order, at the Old Pueblo show, which is at the Ramada Hotel, the Ramada Convention Center. This green, this is good, strong color change Alexandrite. Green to a violet. And that was at the again at the Old Pueblo show. And this is about 18 carats of Malawi garnet. I picked it up actually at the United States Fasteners Guild Symposium. They had a lot of door prizes this year, and during one of the seminars I got this piece free as a door prize. So there was a good incentive to go out to the Old Pueblo Lapidary Club, clubhouse there, where the United States Fasteners Guild is able to have their symposium every year. So well worth the time, great classes, everybody learned something, and great door prizes. And in addition, during the lunch times, anybody could bring rough to buy, sell, or trade, and those were the best deals in Tucson. And these were an impulse buy. It's a Mexican fire opal, I believe, Old Pueblo again, the Old Pueblo show. I really didn't need any. I had just, in December and before, I had got all of my Mexican opal that I'd had in inventory and collected over the years, and I made it a point to cut every piece of that. I cut it all up, got rid of all my Mexican opal inventory, and then I found myself drawn to one of the many Mexican opal booths and said, oh, kind of an orange, Fanta orange, I think I'll pick some up. So, and then I fortunately stopped myself because I really didn't need any, really didn't want any, but my depleted Mexican opal inventory is now kind of on the rise again. I'm gonna have to find time this year to cut it and get it done, and if I do buy more, I'm looking for larger pieces. But this was fine. These pieces are all over 5 carats, so it was all good. And the Mexican opal that I found a lot of times, in a lot of cases, was lot only. So they had big packages of parcels of Mexican opal, but in a lot of cases it was you had to buy the whole lot. They didn't want you to select through it, which I don't want to do. So this is another example of why you would want to go to the lunchtime swap meet at the U.S. Fasteners Guild Symposium at the OPLC, Old Pueblo Lapidary Club. Actually, I had just been working to get rid of all my peridot stockage, and even during Tucson I started work cutting 24 pieces of peridot. Thought I was gonna be done with peridot for a while, and this parcel of peridot came up during the lunchtime swap. It came from an estate, and the price was unbelievably good. So I bought the lot, and I know that I'm not ever going to cut all of this peridot, so I split the lot. Anything under 5 carats is over here, and anything that's not really wasn't clean or may have most of it was all clean, but there were a couple of pieces that had issues, so I'm probably not going to cut those. I think this guy is like that. Looks like there's an issue with him. He'll probably go over there. But a good deal, again, during the lunchtime swap meet. So I picked up peridot just as I finished cleaning out my inventory of years and years and years of peridot. I was able to cut and pre-polish all 24 of my peridot gemstones and thought I was going to be done with peridot for a while till this too good to pass up deal presented itself. This is bicolor topaz, very rare. Apparently there was some in Brazil, but the colors were very light. This is the only other known source of this bicolor topaz, which is the Volyn deposit in the Ukraine. Part of Ukraine nearest to Poland, fortunately not the part that's contested right now. But I got this from Mineral Cities. There's mostly specimens out there. It's worth the trip. Parking, got to find a parking spot, but there's plenty of parking, and the shows are in many different buildings, so it's kind of a maze of walking through different places to find all the specimens. And my wife did pick up some cut bicolored topaz pieces. She spent way more on in Tucson than I did, and I only spent a fraction of what we spent overall for the store. And I'm not showing you anything that she bought because it's not rough. But this bicolored topaz is of interest to me. I'm thinking this piece might make a briolette. Pretty cool. This piece I'm thinking might be one piece when I get done and do some etching on the back to highlight the colors. And this one I may cut into multiple smaller bicolored pieces, but my plan may change many times over the near future. But again, the Mineral Cities, it's a great place to visit, and there's another show out there where John G is. He located to another show out there where, of course, he's a great rough dealer. It's always worth the visit to go see him. So, Mineral City. Okay, from the lunchtime swap meet, emerald. Wasn't looking for emerald. I don't generally look for natural emerald because it's too included and the price is too crazy for bigger pieces. However, this was another estate package. The price was very good, and they're not all that included. So, wasn't looking for emerald, but couldn't pass it up. A good deal on the swap meet at the U.S. Fasteners Guild lunchtime swap meets during their symposium. Wasn't really looking for indicolite, but and I have plenty of topaz, plenty of rough still to work through, but did find some at the Old Pueblo show. Price was right, color was very nice, and it's very clean, so I picked it up. Again, Old Pueblo. So I'm generally not looking for aquamarine if it's light, light blue, the common blue that all the malls in all the 5 jewelry stores in every mall in America have. If it's light or if it's inclusions, I have it. I have tons of it. I have plenty of it from years ago. So I generally don't look for that. But when I find bigger clean pieces or bluer aquamarine, I do look for it. I do buy it. So it's hit and miss every year. This year there seemed to be quite a bit of aquamarine there. This was a beautiful double blue piece of aquamarine. These are not, these are nice blue. But the reason I bought this is it's large and clean. There's a part here I'll have to cut out, but it's going to make a nice big gemstone. It's about 125 carats, and this one is weighing in right at 100 carats as well. Very clean, going to make a nice gemstone. So I picked both of those up, but then as I was waiting towards the end of the show, in fact the day I was going to come back, there was another dealer in AGTA of all places, who my wife was working on some alexandrite, cut pieces of alexandrite to get. Very expensive, and the AGTA show is good for cut gemstones, beautiful gemstones. But as we were talking to this dealer, he said he was going to have some rough from Malawi coming in. They were working on getting their visas, having a little trouble. But they were supposed to be in the very last day that I was going to be there, so I got up early. Well, not too early, the show didn't start till 10. Headed down to the show and then met with him and checked out later to go to the airport. And I was able to pick up a couple nice pieces of nice blue aquamarine, nice clean, nice big pieces from Malawi. So then, just to show you again the swap meet at the U.S. Fasteners Guild, I got a parcel. Well, I got to go through a parcel of rough, nice blues, very nice, and I'm not going to tell you the prices, but I will say that this parcel is only a few dollars difference from this stone at the show, the parcel at the lunchtime swap meet. So problem is, a lot of the new fasteners show up at the swap meet, and by the time the U.S. Fasteners Guild Symposium is taking off, everybody's already spent their money. So for those people that still had money left, a good deal. In this video, I showed you the purchases which I made at the Tucson shows this year. And I'm no different than most other cutters out there. Over time, I generally have bought more rough than I cut. So my inventory of rough over the years grew and grew and grew. And then several years ago, I started trying very hard to cut more rough than I bought, and thus putting a dent in my lifetime inventory accumulation of gemstone rough. This past year was a bit of a challenge because I traveled to Kenya and Tanzania and picked up some rough from the gem mining areas, directly from the miners. So I tried extra hard on my visit to Tucson this year to focus on buying just a few higher quality, high priced pieces of rough rather than kilos of lower priced pieces of rough. Sadly, when I thought I had my inventory of peridot greatly reduced, I found a super bargain of excellent peridot rough, and poof, my inventory went right back up again. So anyway, please let me know in the comments what you thought of Tucson this year, and if you went, what you picked up. And as always, happy fasting, everyone.